Okay, welcome to the HPB August 15th meeting, 2022. And I think we have a motion to start this meeting, to begin the meeting.
I'll move this to open the meeting.
Okay, any seconds?
Second.
Okay.
Roll call. Member Dabrowski.
Present.
Member Olson.
Here.
Member Evans. Here. Member Searle.
I'm here.
Chair Pollak.
Here.
Motion carries.
Okay, thank you.
Technically, the answer is yes,
Yes.
instead of I'm here.
I'm also here too, but I'm, yes.
I meant for all of you.
Yeah, okay.
I also.
All right. Does anybody need to recuse themselves? Shoot tonight?
15 Austin Park is out of the Bureau Architecture Office,
Right.
so I'm
Okay.
recused from
Okay.
that.
All right, so noted. Anybody else?
Member Evans is a no.
Member Olson, no. No. Dabrowski.
No.
Great.
Okay, very good. The first issue we have this evening is 41 Courtney Circle. This is the installation of a railing, and I believe we just didn't have a picture the last time when this came up. We do have one, if I can borrow this now. This is it, your property?
It's my parents' property.
Yeah, okay, and I assume this works properly? You're in.
Yes, it's very good for my mother and my father.
Okay.
Do you mind sitting up there, sir? No.
Yeah. Oh,
Chair, but you didn't have any chairs to sit in, so.
yeah, there we go. Thank you. Thank you, Jeff. That's okay.
If it's easier for you to stay there, it's fine.
Yeah, yeah. So, open to comment from the members.
I think it obviously is serving its purpose. It's fairly minimal and unobtrusive.
Is it already there?
It is.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you,
And
Jim.
it's,
I apologize for that question. I drove by yesterday. I was looking at these pictures of the roof, but I was just given this one yesterday, so that's why I asked if it was already there.
it appears also as though this would be fairly easily removable.
Yes. Yeah. Any other comment? Dan?
I guess in what capacity would we be voting on?
Just whether or not this is acceptable. The findings of fact, I think, are that it fits with the style of the home and the, period, which I think is, what, 1960s-ish?
63 was still the same year as that.
Okay, yeah. Does anybody, I make a motion to accept the proposed railing, or the railing as pictured in this image here, and it's your home. Do I have a second for that?
I'll second.
Okay.
Roll call. Member Dabrowski.
Yes.
Member Olson.
Yes.
Member Evans.
Yes.
Yes.
Chair Pollak.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes,
Thank you
yes,
for
the
coming in.
findings,
You all set?
I would say yes.
Okay, thank you.
so much.
Take care.
Have a great day.
I feel like the best I can say is that it's unobtrusive. And is removable and necessary for the safety of the inhabitants, the current inhabitants of the house.
Okay. Okay. You all set, Kristen?
Yes,
Good.
thank you.
Okay.
Could I ask a question? Where do we stand with the roofing on this?
What?
Where do we stand with the roofing on this?
Well,
I'm talking to Nikon to see what.
I'm sorry?
I'm talking with Nikon. I haven't been able to call them yet, but I have the contact numbers. I'm going to get their input about substitute materials and hardship and all that, and then we'll.
Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I have no issue with it on a hardship basis, but if we're looking at appropriateness, it's not appropriate.
Exactly.
I have questions about the application of their hardship code, which we adopted as our, their model code we adopted as our code.
Okay. All right, item number 2 is 15 Austin Park for an addition. Is there anybody here on that?
That's me.
You are the one, okay, very good.
You can go.
Please come right up here.
Come sit up closer so we can abuse you. once.
Yeah.
You don't go there right there. Use the paper.
These?
Yeah.
This is expanding on the solar guidelines, and these are the
I just wanted to give her room if she needed it.
Yeah, I don't know if I need it.
These are mine, they were just on the paper.
Yes, correct, they were extra.
I think before we start on this, though, and Jeff and I talked about this, on, given the fact that the seeker is still in the works, I initially said that we could, conduct this for information only, get more in, and this is a pretty big project, but we do want to say, I think you suggested that we say that there's no objection to the planning board being the,
Let me talk about it.
yeah, you go ahead and explain those things.
I would split this into two. I would split the demolition from the approval. So because she has to go to the planning board, planning board needs to know that we're going to approve the demolition. But we can't really approve a demolition until we've approved what's going to go in its place. We can't approve what's going in its place till we get site plan approval. So if the board is predisposed to approve demolition, then it would be conditioned on our eventual approval of the replacement structure.
Okay.
I'm curious, I know I can't vote, but as a matter of information, I'm curious about what the seeker, how you ended up with a positive seeker, because.
Because it's historic property.
Say that again?
Because it's
No.
what?
Because it's in the, I'm on a planning board.
Oh.
I don't think it's a positive declaration.
You don't think so? I don't know. See, I
Is it
wasn't
a
at the
positive
planning board
declaration?
meeting, but because it's in a.
No, it's just, they're asking for us to be lead agent, or they're asking for them to be lead agency.
Okay.
They're going to do secret.
Yeah, well, because
But what's the seeker issue for the planning board
okay,
Yeah.
so if it's over 400 square feet
of demolition?
of anything, of an addition, it has to go to the planning board, and it's a major site plan approval,
Right.
which means you have to have the full EAF.
Okay,
EAF?
okay. I just
Well,
want
that's
to
not
understand
precisely
the
correct.
future.
Is it that? Okay,
But it doesn't really matter because the
Yeah.
planning board's doing that.
right. So the project went to the planning board last month. I wasn't there because I was on vacation, my colleague went.
Yeah.
And so I'm guessing that they still have to finish the seeker process, right?
But they need our.
They need that in order to finish.
And they need us to say yes, be lead agency.
Okay.
I still don't get what the seeker
It's
issue
not my
is.
call, it's not our call, it's not before the board.
I'm asking because this board cannot invoke seeker, as far as I understand it.
But we're not, we're an involved agency, they're just doing the courtesy of sending it to us so that we can accede to their request to be lead agency.
I completely understand that. What I don't understand is what is the issue for the planning board that's triggered seeker review?
It's our code. It's our historic preservation code, and the demolition portion of it in our code requires
Okay,
secret.
okay.
Yeah,
That's,
it's Justin,
all right, I've got it.
I first
Got
had
it.
to question it, but he sent the code over, and our code requires it.
Okay, got it.
We'll just follow along.
Okay. So
Okay,
then the issue that maybe you want to just talk about the demolition all by
sure,
itself.
so the first part.
Yeah.
Okay, so the demolition, so because this is somewhat of an informational meeting, I was in a.
Let me stop you right there.
Go ahead.
This is not an informational
Okay.
meeting on demolition.
And demolition. So there's been a change to the plan. Part of the plan was a two piece where there was, the north side was going to be the addition of the garage. I'll get to the demolition. The addition of the garage and the master bedroom above. And then on the south side, they were going to essentially build on the footprint of an existing porch.
Got it.
Well, they're going to keep the porch as is at this
Oh.
point. They've decided it's cost prohibitive to do that portion of it. So that is going to be removed from the project.
Okay.
So the demolition at this point is only going to be to remove the single car garage and the driveway and replace the driveway if that matters.
Do what to the driveway?
Remove it and replace it.
What, is it asphalt now, or what is it?
But that's not destroyed, I suppose it was in there.
Oh,
I think that's before us.
Mhm. So it's just a single car garage on a
Okay.
small post-war colonial revival.
and that sort of straddles the footprint, or I think is it?
So the garage is, not black and white here, it's just a small piece here.
Right,
So we'll be removing that to build a new two-car garage with the addition above it.
now does the flooring and everything go with it?
The floor, you said?
The floor of the garage, is that poured concrete slab?
Yep,
That goes?
floor concrete
I'll
slab,
start
everything's
over.
going,
Okay.
yeah.
Is it a single car right now? Lindsay?
It's a single car.
Okay, so you're gonna increase the footprint.
Yeah, we're going to increase the footprint to a two-car garage. It's going to,
You're still reducing the driveway a little bit to
Yes.
compensate for the
yeah,
pervious.
exactly, yeah. So it's a little bit compensated, but we also don't need that wide of a driveway at this point, so.
So is there anything going to be saved from that? Is like the side door of the garage, is that going to be recycled?
No, to be honest, I hadn't thought about it, but we will be putting the side door back in that location. I think the owner would probably be happy to reuse that door.
Oh, okay,
That's, that is something I think that I hadn't considered, but we certainly can do if that's something that would
okay.
improve the application. It might happen anyways.
Yeah, just curious about that, okay. All right. Any,
Specifically as it pertains to demolition.
So this one, there's nothing going on
On the,
top of the page.
exactly.
I just wanted to make sure we specifically just discussing demolition. at
It's
this
just
point.
strictly demolition.
Yep. Sorry, we do have small plans.
Are there going to be any renovations of that deck?
Nope,
A new deck put on?
nothing, it's concrete.
Oh, look at this one right here.
Yeah, it's just a
Okay.
concrete, so it's just this, I've actually, it's dashed, the existing garage is this dashed line here,
Mhm.
and the new garage is the darker line.
Oh, so no
So it's
footings
kind of
all the way
straddling.
around, yeah,
No, we're gonna remove the footings of the existing.
okay. And then this project is off.
Yeah, this
Yeah,
project's
yeah,
off the
yeah,
table now.
Okay. Was that included in
That's
the
the
original?
south side.
This
Yes,
is right here, I'm
yes.
looking at it.
Yep,
This one, A-L1.
I mean, I don't know if you have to consider, we are removing some sidewalk and
Yeah,
But is that the back of the house technically? I know it's the
Well,
side of the house because of more the
it's
front
facing,
of it.
it's
Is this the front door?
facing, this is
This
the
is-
front door currently.
Okay.
It's facing the canal. The
Right.
canal's like right here.
the front door will go this way, that's,
That's, yeah, so,
Oh, I see.
but just sticking to the demolition. So is there anything going to be saved with the garage at all, or?
we haven't planned on it.
Okay.
I mean, to be honest, construction's not really all that high quality.
Okay.
We could save the door, the back door. I think they'd actually like that, to be honest with you.
Yeah? Yeah, okay. Any other questions? Kendra?
Yeah, I was just going to ask, this is a point of clarity, not so much for the applicant, but for the board in general. I'm not, and maybe for Jeff, I don't understand how we can approve a demolition without going ahead to approve what's going to go in place for the demolition. So maybe the audio was off and I just missed something. But could you help clarify that for me? Because I don't necessarily feel comfortable just approving a demolition today.
Oh, we do a condition, they don't get a demolition permit until you approve what's gonna go in there. They can't tear anything down until you approve what's going in there. It's the only logical way to do it, given that it has to be
It's
stapled.
conditioned on that, yeah.
Okay.
Did that help?
So then to clarify, we're not actually voting right now. This is still just information only for the whole thing.
No, we're voting on the demolition, so the planning board knows that it can go forward with site plan, but that demolition is dependent on the eventual approval. If we don't approve anything, they don't get to demolish it.
You there?
I'm there, yeah, no, I think I'm still just well, I just know how that, I'm gonna vote on that, but okay, thanks.
Okay. All right. All right,
Yeah, I have no other questions.
yeah, okay. Dan?
I'm just looking at this right here. This is existing, and this will be part of
Yeah, that's
the
the
new,
new. Mhm, mhm.
as well on this side right here, and then that
Yeah.
garage.
Exactly,
Okay.
yeah.
So are we going to discuss the for information aspect after voting on the demolition, or are we doing that now?
This is just the demolition.
Okay,
I
then
see.
I have questions on that, so
Oh,
that's why I just
sure,
wanted to
yeah,
clarify.
okay. Any other questions? Okay. We have a motion to approve the demolition contingent and conditional on the plans for replacement being acceptable.
Is that you motioning?
Yeah.
Second.
Okay.
Okay, roll call. Member Dubrowski,
Yes.
member Olson,
Yes.
member Evans,
No,
Chair Pollak,
Yes,
motion passes.
okay. Now,
We need findings of fact, right?
Jeff and I'll put those together.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
great.
so then the plans for the replacement
Yes,
considered separately, okay? We're gonna go through those.
sure.
So are these modified from what we have in the packet?
No, they're not modified. They still show the south porch.
So it is going to change.
That work will go away, yes. And they're distinctly separate.
Okay, all right.
They're not connected to each other. So the existing house, this is an existing floor plan, and it's about a 1,400 square foot house.
Mhm.
The reason why we're doing the work is it's a tiny house, and they like to add a little more space for a master bedroom and be able to park their cars in the garage in the wintertime. So this is the garage that we were just discussing, and here is the first floor plan, and this is the second floor plan of the existing space. Let's see here. Okay, so here is the proposed first floor plan here. I'm sorry.
Got it?
Well, Ginny can't vote right, so we'll just
Yeah.
stick over here. So this is the portion that's going away on the south side that we just discussed. So it's all going to be happening on the 15 Austin Park side of the property. Again, canals over here. So we're replacing the single car garage with a 2-car garage with a small foyer that's going to reorient the door, the entry door, towards the street. The reason we're doing that is there's an issue with people finding the front door because you have to walk around the house and into the side of the house,
Maybe over here.
which is,
normally.
currently right here.
Right,
So we're going to replace that window with a window to match the existing. They did replace, they came to the board for replacement windows several years ago, I believe. And so we will be, they'll all be the same windows. They still make those same windows. So foyer, garage, and on the second story is the master bedroom and bathroom. Exterior elevations. So here's the existing. And so you can see this is that porch that's going to remain. Here's the existing single car garage. And this is the elevation from 15 Austin Park. Yep. Okay. And here, mine's this. Here is the new elevation from Austin Park with the entry door here and the 2-car garage offset from the entry door. And the upstairs is in gray. That might help you.
So this is actually set, is this plane set back?
Yeah, so this elevation is set back from the garage.
Yeah, I figured that,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, right, yeah, that
Right.
distance, okay.
Right, so and then here's looking from the canal side, and so this is open. It's the entry porch, and here's a little bit of the garage that's
Yeah.
sticking out from there.
Okay.
And this is step back, so it's not all in line with the existing house, it's step back from the existing house.
Okay.
How far?
Just ask me that question. It's only 1'10".
Okay.
This is somewhat irrelevant because it's got that we're not doing this, but here's the backside, which only the neighbors can see.
And that's not the canal side.
No, this is the opposite side.
So what about this window here? Okay.
That is a window in the bedroom, the existing bedroom.
That's the same style or width of these other?
It's the same width as the others. Yes, of these
Yeah.
guys. Now, these are also replacement windows. I'm sorry. No, we are not replacing those windows because we're not making any changes to this elevation.
Right, right.
I apologize.
Boy.
That is the back elevation.
Yeah,
But no, we are not making any changes to those windows.
okay.
I'll leave this one out.
Tell me about the siding. So
It's
it's
gonna
going to be
match-
completely,
Completely match existing.
okay, so they're not replacing the existing at all, they're just
No.
going for a similar?
No, they're going to teeth it in, so, there will be a little bit of replacement, but it's going to be, they still make it.
Yeah, yeah.
We are replacing the entire roof to match existing. It's a low slope roof, you actually can't really see it from the ground, but it'll be asphalt shingles.
You're going to replace the entire roof across?
Yeah,
Might as well.
yeah, you might as well while we're at it. The
Yeah.
garage door will be wood. I have the, there we go. That's what you're looking at over here, Christopher. That's the entry door that you see from 15 Austin Park.
So talk to us about this door,
Which door?
this entrance door.
This entrance door, okay?
Because I find it a little unusual, but that's,
Well, it's not the door I would have chosen.
okay.
There. It's the door the owner requested. It's because it's a double door. Yeah.
Well, yeah,
Yeah, and just kind of inconsistent with
it
it.
is, yeah,
Yeah.
it's inconsistent with the entire
I
house.
think that she'd
Which
be
is-
willing to, if it was a sticking point,
So
yeah.
first of all, there was interest in a double door then?
Yeah.
Okay, so,
Yeah.
okay,
Yes, the double door. The style, though, matches the style of the existing, there's the existing door and the back porch. Do I have an existing elevation? This door
Or an
here.
existing picture.
Yeah, they had this style going throughout the entire house with the horizontal divided lights.
4 panels.
Yeah, so we were trying to match that.
So is this going to be white or is this going to be natural?
White,
Oh, okay.
yep.
Probably says that here somewhere.
Yeah, and further on that, I mean, personally, I mean, how much of a burden is it for them that people aren't able to find the front door? Because, I mean, just from the plans, it just seems like that just creates, from the canal facing, this monolith of a building
Yeah.
that doesn't actually have like a proper foyer entryway, which would be,
Well, you would
Standing.
see the opening for the, here, if you're looking from the canal, you're going to see this sort of recess to kind of indicate that that's entrance. It is it's a problem from 15 Austin Park, because people obviously aren't coming from the canal side.
oh,
coming
totally,
from the street.
just from the
Yeah,
the visual of it.
But now that you've bumped out the garage,
Mhm.
you'll kind of have a walkway leading down the side of the house that if,
exactly.
on Chris's point, if you could get the door to face the canal and save this
Yeah,
blank side, if we had the door facing the canal and not necessarily facing the driveway, that might help with keeping the existing look of the house while just moving the door down.
right. Well,
and turning
logistically, it
the
would be tricky because it'd be going into the garage. We're on a very tight site. It's, we can't go in any direction on the north or the east-west direction. To move that garage to make room for the foyer, I guess I would argue that it's more important from the street than from the canal as far as access into the house.
But the street's a dead, what is a dead end
It's
there?
a dead end
Yeah,
street.
that's what I thought, yeah.
Yeah,
So, now, is there any foot traffic? I'm just curious about it on the
yeah.
canal
No,
side.
on the canal, no, there is no
Or
foot
the
traffic.
availability to do so.
Yeah, it'd be on the opposite side. of the
Hmm.
Okay,
canal.
yeah, okay, yep.
Yeah, I'm not suggesting people walk, it's people who are coming to the house
Yeah.
that are having trouble finding the front door.
So I noticed you also have drawing, or light fixtures listed, and that's
Yeah.
fine, but I find the hardware on this door
Oh.
also doesn't go with.
Yeah, no, that's just the image from Heartwood.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's not the exact.
What's the Heartwood door?
That's a Heartwood door. I can't promise we're going to get a Heartwood door, but it's going to look exactly like that.
Yeah, okay. So the hardware would be,
Well, I can give you, we haven't chosen the hardware, but I do have, I don't have it, I'm sorry. I don't have the hardware.
that's, I just, so there's interest in it, that's all.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
I don't recall door hardware being discussed as a matter of course.
This doesn't seem, but to
No,
clarify, this doesn't fit that. box.
I can guarantee you it will not be the
Okay.
hardware.
Yeah,
Can I make a comment?
yeah,
I think, the house is a 1960s Garrison colonial. A statement of significance would identify it as a mid-century Garrison colonial house. And to pick up on Mr. Dabrowski's comment, one of the typical characteristics of almost every village street is the front door faces the street and it engages the facade of the house with the street. I think the problem with the design that's being proposed is the front door is visually hidden, and so it really changes the character of it. You hit right on it. And I think that problem, there's two other problems with the design, and I'm a preservation architect, I used to sit on this board. The column is the proportions of the column in the corner are visually too narrow, it looks spindly, it doesn't look visually like it has enough weight. There is a clear proportional system that colonial revival houses use for columns that you really want to look at. The other thing I would say is the proportions of that recessed entry porch, if that's the way you want to do it, are very small. And that looks like something, a side door on what is becoming a very long house. So one option would be to actually have a door that faces forward towards the street with a porch instead of a recessed porch. And then the house would have maintain the traditional relationship that all the other houses on the street have.
The door is facing the street in the plan.
Yeah, you've actually
Yeah, it
picked
is.
up on something that I was kind of wrestling with myself. Is
Yeah, it's
because
right down the driveway.
front faces the canal itself, whereas the garage faces the road. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it faces the street, it does not face the canal anymore.
That's true, but you see, the HPB code actually treats the canal as the street, and the facade of the house historically addressed the canal. There's several other houses like that, one over on Jackson Park that does the same thing and has the facade. So I think the facade facing the canal, because probably more people, I'm guessing, see it from the canal than actually see it from the street.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I'd like to agree with that. I think the canal side is more of a public view than the road, given that it is the dead end on Austin Park.
Hmm.
Okay,
And going
All
off
good
of that
points.
point too, having the garage bump out to the right will help drive traffic to the front of the house on the canal side.
On the canal side. Okay.
That's the funny thing about the orientation of it is because like, yeah, I can appreciate for
Yeah.
the homeowners that it's like you kind of get there and it's like, which
Right.
side are we going to?
Right. The garage does currently, is shifted.
Yeah.
It's just you walk into a wall with a small window instead of a door, and you have to kind of go left, and then, then the door is there on the right-hand side.
so this can't be, you can't flip the garage, can you, at all on that, or I don't know where that opening goes into, though.
The opening,
And then
no.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Just-
I
Again,
hear
I
your
think
point.
there's two solutions that might help. One would be, and I'm thinking from the canal view, if you made that recessed porch a little wider, it would have some meat to it, and it wouldn't look so, like an afterthought. The other thing is to have a porch that wraps in partway on the canal side, which might be a usable feature, because the house does have that beautiful view of the canal.
Well,
Hmm.
yeah.
So,
I want to add, though, that we're up against lot coverage issues.
Yeah.
That's part of the reason why, everything's kind of tight, but
Is there any issue with keeping the existing door instead of turning that into a window?
I guess there's not really an issue with it. I mean, well,
Because, yeah, so my problem isn't so much
Yeah.
the new door, it's
Yeah.
so much the removal of
Of
the
that
existing
door.
door, which kind
Yes,
of nears
right.
the front of the building.
And especially if you're creating a porch right there, that would also help.
well, the argument I was going to make is that that living room is so small, it's hard to put furniture in, but I can't really make the case that it would help because it's still going to be a walk-through.
A window, and
Yeah.
actually, maybe if you just left the door, it would at least keep
Yeah.
the aesthetics of the house.
I think if that's, if that's what it's going to
That would
take.
be a big
Yeah.
improvement, yeah.
so you have some options to go back and
Yeah,
talk to them about.
yeah, I think
it
that's,
just-
yeah. What would you, I'm not sure, see, my worry is if we put a door in here, it's going to become this sort of door hallway, it's going to be confusing. I guess I prefer the idea of keeping the door here.
Mhm.
Right,
instead of
yeah,
doing that.
yeah.
I mean, ultimately, yeah, the interior use is beyond us, but
Well, yeah, it doesn't buy us anything, I think, take it away or leave it, so,
So, okay, all right.
okay?
Good input.
I have one question on these windows.
Yeah.
These were already approved for this house
Yes,
already?
we are
Previous-
matching what has
Okay.
been installed
Just checking.
previously. Which matched, I mean, they didn't obviously the same manufacturer, but they matched in profile.
Oh, so it's a
And
different
lights.
manufacturer?
Well, that's not, I don't
It's
think
different
Anderson put them in 1960, whatever.
Oh, so that's what I was saying. You replaced windows on this
Yes,
house?
yes, I haven't, but they have, yes.
Okay. And they were these ones?
Yes,
Okay.
exactly. Mhm.
Okay,
they look fairly similar to the inventory from.
Yeah.
it's listed,
Yeah.
They're pretty close.
1962 house. Okay. So I think there's enough discussion here for maybe a revision on this. And we can,
That's okay, I mean,
cover
that's-
that later on, but I think we're, there's some
Well,
other
this is the
options we need
opportunity
to look at.
since we are information.
You're waiting for that other
Right.
30 days to run down, so, okay. You feel we have enough information to,
So it
Back on
sounds,
that?
yeah, it sounds like the major issue is the door towards
yeah,
the canal.
Yeah.
Is there anything else that you want me to be aware of?
Possibly the style of the door. I would take into consideration Jeff's comments.
Okay,
especially if it does wind up on the side of the house.
Mhm.
Oh, is it the style of the door that's there now?
the style of the door
That
that's
would be double-
on
that
the
would be a
south
little-
side of the
yeah.
house. On the
Again,
south
I'd
side
have
of
to
the house.
caution that that's an awfully tight space there.
Mhm.
Yeah,
For a double door.
But,
Mhm.
yeah, you can look at that.
Okay,
Any other discussion?
No, that was my big.
Okay, I think we should table
Table
this
it?
until,
Motion to let the planning board be lead agency, to agree to the planning board being lead agency.
oh, yes. Do we have a motion to let the planning board be the lead agency?
To agree.
We agree.
I'll second that.
Okay. Roll call?
Member Dubrowski?
Yes.
Andrew, you there?
I lost the audio, I'm sorry. Member Evans is a yes.
Okay,
And Chair Pollak?
yes,
Motion passes.
okay, thank you. Okay, thank you very much.
thank you.
Okay,
Is the way to receive steel through Terry Massey?
You can just call Bruce.
Just call Bruce,
Or email.
okay.
30 days.
Well, I'll have to get contact information from you then. I don't think I have his number in my phone.
Okay, 50 State Street, signage.
She has to be brought in. She should be in attending. I just got a hold of her and she's signing on computer.
Oh, okay,
She thought the meeting was tomorrow night.
okay.
Right.
Having never been remote before, I'll just chime in that all of the paper rustling is really all that's able to be heard on this side.
That's part of what we do here.
And Sharon.
Hopefully,
Thanks,
less of it.
Kendra, because it's very hard to do minutes.
So they
If you want-
logging on.
Brennan,
Yes, they need to accept the fact that I approve as on camera. Brenna?
Hi there, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, fantastic.
Better audio, too.
Oh, good.
So Kristen, just let us know when they,
She's on, that's
oh,
fine.
she's on.
that was her.
Oh, sorry, okay,
Sounds like, yeah. Okay.
okay. We're here to talk about your signs.
Excellent.
Okay. These are these two, there are two different signs proposed, very much alike. One's a little bit bigger than the other. Are they already there?
They are not, no.
Oh, great,
It's really good.
great graphics, though, I'll tell you.
Thank you, yeah. I'm working with some local folks right in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, good.
Cool.
Okay. Board members? No?
It's an attractive sign, appears to meet village code requirements,
Nice
I
and
agree.
proportional.
simple and to
Yeah.
the point.
Yep. Which will help this business.
Distracting from the building.
All right. Any other questions? No?
Could I just suggest the statement of significance for the building? A late century colonial revival commercial building, and the sign placement corresponds with the traditional sign placement on this building.
Thank
You
you.
don't have any blue sheet
No,
for this
Yeah.
I
building.
think this is a relatively
Even if
recent,
it's,
yeah.
even if it's signs, we should
Yeah.
have the blue sheets.
There,
There is one in here.
Yeah,
It's just this
yeah.
one. It's just this one.
unfortunately,
Well,
there
this
is,
isn't,
Oh, no.
No, blue sheets.
It's
Should have
four
this.
levels.
do you remember? This was the one that is,
Yeah, we couldn't figure it out. There was something about the bills and the, so we were trying to figure which, you know what I mean, by the different buildings.
right, so this is labeled as building C, but on building C, this is not the building.
This is before they put a second floor on it.
looks like
Ah.
if you have an issue and you can't figure out which it is, then you should ask.
I did, I asked Steve, and we tried to figure it out.
Okay, but if you guys don't get it, there are other resources to ask. Because having the blue sheet is important, whether it's just a sign.
Okay, well, we spent quite a while trying to figure that out one day, and it just got, I was gone all last week, so.
No, that's fine, but
Okay.
if you need assistance, let me know. I'm pretty familiar with the blue sheets.
Okay. Any other comments on this?
I'll make a motion that we approve the application as submitted.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
Okay.
Member Dubrowski,
Yes.
member Olson,
Yes.
member Evans,
Yes.
member Searle,
Yes, I would like to have Mr. Corbin's information regarding the significance of the building included in
Chair Powell,
the minutes.
Yes,
motion passes.
thank you. Okay.
Did you get the
Next.
information, Kristen, or would you like?
Brendan, come see me for a permit, okay?
Okay, thank you so much.
Did you write down Mr. Corby's comments regarding the building, significance of the building?
No.
The white statement, it's a late
I
20th
don't-
century commercial colonial revival building.
I have to go back and watch the minutes, so.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
We have item 4. 25 Monroe Avenue, window replacement?
Yes.
Okay. Are you 25 Monroe?
No, I'm the next door neighbor, but Jim asked me to come along with him because I'm familiar with the house and I'm an architect.
Reinforcement, I like that. Okay, good deal. Okay, okay, tell us about this project.
Well, I did
You were here before, so.
I was, yeah, to replace a door, to put clapboards up and to replace the door. Yes, yeah. So I did a major kitchen remodel on the house. What existed there before was a relatively small kitchen, not original at all. And then next to that was a room, but it was being used as a laundry room. It was a relatively large room, but there was a washer and dryer in there, not too much else, a lot of storage stuff. So I knew when I bought the house, I wanted to expand the kitchen. There were two options available to me, and I think I've covered that a little bit in my write-up. I could expand the kitchen one way and basically take over an existing, I'll call it a foyer, an entrance area. Or I could go out into this laundry room, which was, it just was not an attractive building, just basically drywall around the walls. So I elected to go into the laundry room area, despite the fact that it gave me a smaller kitchen, but I wanted to preserve what I could of the house. It's just a beautiful home. It's got a lot of original wood in there, a lot of original windows, and I just wanted to preserve that as best I could. So the other issue with the kitchen area, it's very dark. I will tell you, people that have come over to the house said this is an absolutely beautiful home. It would make a great, funeral home. It just has that dark feeling to it.
Great way you describe your home.
Well, it was a little bit tongue-in-cheek, but it was, it's dark, so I want to bring light into
The kitchen was dark. The rest of the house has huge windows.
It does,
Right.
yeah. So I wanted to bring light into the room, but I also wanted to ensure I could preserve the look of the home, the historical relevance of the home on Monroe Avenue and Washington Avenue. And in the pictures you will see, there are several windows that face that way, and I worked to preserve those. There's three windows basically that face that way. One of them was a replacement window that I left. The other two are original windows that I.
This is a new window with a bump out.
Yes.
And it was a very interesting story you told with that too.
Well,
very nice.
That's the story.
Yeah.
From a preservation perspective, I'd like to, because he asked my opinion on it when he was first considering the window. And I thought, in my opinion, as a preservation architect, I felt it was acceptable. The house is a Queen Anne Gump style house in Pittsburgh. In the 1880s, 1890s, and up until the early 20th century, there was a Lutheran minister by the name of George Gump, whose brother was a carpenter, and they had a business building houses, and they're all over the village. There's one across the street there, there's one there, the Hutchison house next door, the second floor was added by them. And you can tell these houses because if you look up in the gable, there's clapboards that were cut with a jigsaw. They look like little mini shingles that have kind of a denticulated pattern. This, along with 45 South Main Street, are probably the two most sophisticated Gump houses in the village. This one has a beautiful staircase, it has a number of Queen Anne features.
This window faces the other house, so it's really sort of sideways to the sidewalk.
It faces your house? It faces my neighbor's house, actually. There's a porch, a screen porch that faces my house. I'm on Washington Avenue.
I walk by there, I'm there with
Center
Washington.
Yeah.
You have to be.
You have to want to see it.
If you drive by, you don't see it too well.
No.
In the placement of this window, there was a 1950s casement window.
Yeah.
And so no historic fabric was removed. When Jim designed the kitchen, he did it in a way that prevented any change to any elevation that faced the street, and all the changes were internal. And even the changes internal didn't have any, some of the woodwork in the kitchen, you can see that he kept with its natural finish. It really was a wonderful renovation of the kitchen. He's already explained the sentimental connection to him personally for the window. And I think it's in the exact same location of the casement, the 1950s casement window.
It's the same width too, isn't it?
It's the same width.
It's a little higher.
When the casement windows were open, this projects less than the casement leaf in the open position.
Okay.
And I think if you look at the package, although it is visible from Monroe Avenue, you have to look through Dave Ferris's porch to see it.
You gotta look fast.
Yeah.
You gotta look fast.
I couldn't
Exactly.
see it.
And furthermore, it's the angular nature of it almost
I'm seeing-
It's an
removes the
optical.
frame. Yeah, it's optical in that way that,
Right.
I mean, in fact, if it wasn't protruding outwards, it might not even be
Yeah.
visible.
That's right, yeah.
So are there any other comments from the?
I'm just curious, I mean, this went through without coming to our board first. I agree that it's not visible from the street, and I'm prepared to vote with that in mind, but I just want to make sure I'm understanding.
Yeah, Kendra.
This whole renovation went through without our, because it's not about the sentimental value.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Mhm.
I think we understand.
Or the interior.
Renovation
Yeah.
was interior.
Yeah.
That's why it didn't come to us.
Yeah.
Well, the windows exterior.
So, would anybody like to make a motion regarding this window?
I'll make a motion to approve the window as presented.
I second.
Roll call, Member Dubrowski,
Yes.
Yeah.
Member Evans,
Yes, because it can't be seen from the street.
Member Searle,
Yes.
Chair Pollak,
Yes.
motion passes.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, guys.
Have a great night.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you all.
You're in charge. I must leave the meeting.
Fabulous.
Yeah, finding of facts is window,
Does it comply with our ordinance? Does it comply with our guidelines?
I think it's not visible.
Minimally visible.
It's minimally visible.
invasive. It can be reversed.
It's replacing two modern windows, a modern casement window. It is not replacing an original window.
Do you have specific questions?
Yes. No negative
On
impact on
next,
the
yeah.
resource.
Okay. All right. Bill McBride is going to take my place.
Does he have
Because I have to leave.
questions?
No, Bill's going to talk about the next issue. Okay. And
The sign?
the sign. Okay.
I'm more curious when this building got a second floor. Oh, 83.
Yeah.
Then do you have your questions on this?
Is Bill on board?
He's been, yeah.
You can have that.
Bill?
Bill, you there?
Bill, you there?
Bill, you have to unmute yourself.
Yeah.
Is the applicant?
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
We can hear you now, yes.
Okay, I got you.
Here.
For North Main,
Chris Fisher Bob?
Please come join us.
Hello, everyone.
All right, so we're talking about 4 North Main.
Yep, yeah, we rent the downstairs space currently from Bob Michaels, and we have a cooperative art gallery downstairs.
Yep.
Our goal is to expand to the upstairs with fine crafts.
Oh,
Okay.
great.
Nice.
The entire upstairs or just a
Yep.
specific section of it?
No, the entire second floor.
So upstairs used to be well-being,
Yes, that's correct.
and that was their main entrance, this door that you're putting us next to?
Only entrance.
It's the only upstairs up there.
And this is the only location of the sign here?
Yes,
One.
that's what we're proposing, small, relatively discreet.
Is it parallel with the top of the door? Is that what the idea is?
more about, I would say, the intent would be to put it about 2/3 of the way up from the handle of the door.
Okay.
Your sketch here implies that the top of the sign would be at the same level as the top of the door casing. The
That
trim
might be
around the
placed,
door.
yeah, that might be placed a little high there. There's a mailbox already
Yes.
on the
Mhm.
side of the
Yes.
building, so we'd like to put it, a little bit above the mailbox.
Kind of proportionally between the two.
Yeah, the intent is to put it beside the door, not above it.
Do you know what the width of the reveal of the siding is?
Could you just say it's centered between the mailbox and the top of the door?
Yeah, I do not know how wide the siding pieces are offhand.
Well, it looks to me as though there are 7 rows of clapboard between the mailbox and the top of the top casing
Yeah.
of the door. I wouldn't want to see the sign brought down more than 1 clapboard from what I'm looking at, because otherwise, in my opinion, it would be too close to the mailbox. And I recognize that having it a little closer to eye level is probably good, but I wouldn't want to see it sitting on top of the mailbox.
We don't want to see it sitting on top of the mailbox either.
So my suggestion is, since we don't have actual measurements, actual dimensions, that the bottom of the sign, Steve, do you think this is like 5-inch reveal? It's not as small as 4, and I don't think it's as big as 6. My guess is it's closer to a 5-inch reveal. Oh, you're counting.
Usually 19.
I got 17 to the head of
Yeah,
the
it's a little
door.
less
which would
than
be
that, yeah. It's a little
6,
less
8.
than 5. It might only be 4, so I got 19 to the top of the door, which is 80 inches.
Okay, so I'm going to suggest, if this works for you, that we, since you're suggesting you don't want it to line up with the head of the casing, the top of the head casing, that the bottom of the sign be installed at the bottom of the row of clapboard that is the 3rd row above the mailbox.
3 rows up.
So two rows of clapboard are seen, and then the sign. And it looks like, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4.
And if those are 4 inch, that should put it 2 and 2. It should be 2 above and 2 below that at that point.
Yeah,
Evenly
well, it looks
spaced.
like the sign is 1 foot, and you're covering 4, is that right? 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, but is sketch accurate to 1 foot?
No,
No.
Yeah.
no.
Right, so are we just looking for,
I'm sorry, how are we voting on something without accurate measurements? That would be my comment to the board. Like, I hear the suggestion, but I don't feel prepared to vote if we don't actually have the measurements. We're guessing right now.
I agree, Kendra, that a drawing that's actually to scale is what's required and would certainly be preferred, but the application has been accepted as complete by the building inspector. So I'm not prepared to ask the applicant to stand down and provide something different at this point in the process, when we can clearly delineate a specific location for the sign based on the clapboards.
And I think we need to be okay with that with other applicants that come through without exact drawings. Well, I think that consistency is incredibly important for everybody in our village.
My opinion is that an application should not be accepted as complete unless all of the information is required on the application form is provided, but it's not up to me to make that call. So when there is an opportunity to identify a specific finite location, I am marginally willing to take action on an application when the application is not actually complete as required by the ordinance.
personally, I would just like to see it proportionately spaced from the top of the door to the mailbox, and then also from the door jamb to the edge. Whatever the measurement may be, aesthetically, I would just prefer it to be centered.
Centered between,
It appears that it's close.
between the side trim and the pilaster to the right.
Mhm.
That applied sort of half column is called a pilaster.
Yeah. To the interior corner of it.
Mhm.
Regardless if it's 4 inches or 2 inches, whatever would be proportionately centered.
Or we're gonna have the left edge parallel with the mailbox.
Well, I guess that's where we have incomplete information in terms of the space
But then
between the door and.
that's not going to be centered in this space.
Okay.
I mean, I don't disagree.
It may
I
be,
don't
we just
think it
don't
makes-
have, we don't know how big that space is.
Right.
No, there's
So where this drawing
there's
is.
no indication of the actual sizes here. The application requires a drawing to scale.
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion that we table this application until we've received drawings to scale.
Bill, are you acting as chair at this point?
Dan is the
No,
chair.
I'm acting as chair.
Okay. So,
So is there a
you want to
second
call
to
for a
Kendra?
second?
Yeah, is there a second for Kendra's motion?
Yeah, I'll second the table motion.
Member Dubrowski,
Yes.
member Evans,
Yes.
member Searle,
Yes.
member McBride,
Yes.
acting chair Olson.
Yes.
Okay, motion passes.
So does that mean I come back in a month?
Yes,
Yeah,
you come
you'll be
back
on the
with
next
it.
meeting.
September 19th is the next meeting. You'll want to submit the information, but you can talk to Steve about that.
Yeah, you need
A more drawing to scale.
And
yes,
the
the
issue
drawing-
is the
the drawing.
placement, not the
Purely the
nature of the
placement.
sign.
No,
yes.
I think the
And
design is
I'm
appropriate.
all for the sign.
Yeah,
This is a
everyone's fine
good-looking
with the sign.
I have no issue with the sign.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Okay, yep.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Geez, we should finish up on these.
Yeah, okay.
Look at this one.
That's it, so it.
All right, so then we'll move to 34 Bowden, solar panels. Everyone come up here.
How's everybody tonight?
Well, yourself?
Wonderful, thank you.
Yes.
I'm the homeowner, Valerie.
Oh, I
Nice to meet
wondered
you.
if you were still in the house.
I'm Sean Lesord. Green Spark Solar, this is Katie Stellick behind me with Green Spark Solar. I've been in the solar industry for about 30 years, so I've been through many of these preservation board hearings with various entities across multiple counties here, so please feel free to ask questions. I brought this forward to show you where some of the systems that we have worked on, and show you the historic neighborhoods where we put solar. First top left-hand corner is East Boulevard in the city of Rochester in the George Eastman neighborhood. We put solar panels with high rejection. There was many neighbors that were opposed to it on the porch roof.
That's the top left picture?
That's the top left picture, yeah. And a lot of people were opposed to it, and it got tabled a couple of times, and we got it to go through, and now the neighbors are very pleased with the aesthetics of it. This Creek Revival here is on 490 in the city of Rochester, historic Cornhill neighborhood. The panels are actually right up here by this chimney. Very difficult to get a picture because of the 490s in the picture. Next picture on the left-hand side is on Westminster Drive in the city of Rochester. It's in the historic Park Avenue district. Neighborhood of the Arts is the next picture. That's actually road facing, coming west on University Avenue. There's actually 3 systems that I did next to each other. Next house, Underground Railroad, Federal Registry. Brockport, on the carriage house. 2 pictures on the left here is the Adams Basin Inn, which is another historic landmark. It's now a regular home, not a historic inn. Messner Carpet, obviously right here in the village. And then the town of Sweden, the oldest house in the town of Sweden, Cobblestone. There was some rejection for that at first, and they decided to let it go through, and they're very pleased with what it looks like.
The solar panels on the Messner building are on the rear elevation, is that correct?
That is correct.
Thank you.
So in both proposals, it includes some front-facing modules. Are those necessary from is there like a specific number of panels needed purpose, or talk me through that?
So what I did is an analysis of Valerie's usage for an entire year, and the magic number is 30. So
30 what?
30 solar panels.
Okay.
So to get to that number, the 30 panels are needed to make her home net zero, okay? There's usually objection at first till I show people this, so I'd like to show you this if I could. So with roof systems, there's 2 options. So as I did with all of these, I presented this panel in the past, and this is actually just an example of what they look like. So people see the white in their eyes immediately go to that. So I didn't even come here with this in mind. This is the panels that we use on Valerie's house right here. So they're black frame, they're black back sheet. They sit on an elevated black Unirac frame or iron ridge frame. Nothing will ever rust. It's removable, it's not permanent, okay? So we've had people that have moved and have taken their system with them.
How invasive is the removal to the existing roof? I mean, is it like, would need a new roof in that instance, or what does that look like?
You don't need a new roof, you just need to replace the shingles where the penetration was, because this is an elevated, about a 4-inch elevated platform from the bottom of the panels down to the roof deck.
Plus another 2 inches, so about 6 inches totally protruding.
This is an inch, I think.
Okay.
And you're replacing those shingles because of discoloration or damage to the shingles?
You actually go into the roof rafters with the system. I have the system in the car out in the parking lot. If you want me to get it, I can. It's a stainless steel and aluminum, black aluminum structure.
Not to mention the panels and everything have a 30-year warranty, so they would be up there for 30 years. And then you can take them down for people to re-roof or put your shingles up, or if you want to take it with there.
So having looked at it from the street, my major hesitation is just the fact that in both proposals, the ones in the front are so obvious from the street. The ones in the back, it is very minimal. I mean, your pines are very tall and thick, and I'm not concerned with the ones in the back in any way, shape, or form, but the ones in the front are very much in the face of the code of being not minimally visible. So I guess that's kind of where I am on that, is I would be very happy to approve it.
You mean there's actually code against solar panels?
Not against solar panels, just about the visibility. I mean, that's really the scope of our board is keeping the historic look to things and the apartment interior, especially, I mean, we have them right here, in that, it should be minimally visible from any public way. And it's just that in both proposals, the location of that on the front is just, there's nothing minimal about it. It's very, very obvious.
I'm absolutely in agreement.
Chris, is that I felt like they were minimal on the front. We do want to be able to move forward for net zero. As a former resident of Boughton Avenue, I think that is a very minimal incursion onto the roof. And as we've said with other things, it's removable. It can go away. It's easier to replace than some of the other things that we've used. Removable is a finding of fact. So yes, I agree.
This is Bill McBride. Let me give you a little total perspective on this. This board has approved 3 or 4 solar panels. And we started it off by spending a lot of time researching how various municipalities in the state of New York addressed the compatibility of solar panels with historic perspective. And one of the key things we ended up, and you've got the list of criteria that we ended up with. There are 7 criteria. We've applied that to the 3 or 4 that we've approved previously. And the driving factor there has been to minimize the appearance of the solar panels visibility from a public way. And so it's not the fact, as somebody just said, the solar panels are smaller on the front of the house in option 1 and 2 that you submitted. It is that the solar panels exist on the front of the house. If they were all on the back of the house of this property, they would be minimally visible. You wouldn't see it at all from Boughton, and even the side street. I noticed that there's nice evergreens up on the side. So from the side street, it would be very minimally visible. So I think it's not a matter of it being smaller on the front, the panels being smaller on the front of the house. It's a matter that those panels exist at all on the front of the house, when they could all be put on the back and become minimally visible.
I agree, Bill.
And I just want to walk back some comments because I can option, and for some reason in option 2, I put the panels in the same place in my mind as option 1, which kind of changes that a little bit for me.
Also, I guess that there's a difference between not visible and minimally visible. And I mean, having read over our regulations, we were very clear that they could be visible. That's part of it. So that's where I'm basing my comments.
Well, I wouldn't say on the front of the house that those panels are minimally visible. They will be plainly visible, absolutely visible, not minimally.
I agree with that. I would agree with that.
I'm only going to say that I have supported and defended the APRB from the beginning, but for some reason I have a blind spot with this issue. I don't, like, to me it seems nuts to put the asphalt roof is the beautiful thing that needs to be preserved. I'm having trouble with this. I just want to say that I understand what you've got. I understand what guides you. I understand how hard it is to change your perspective. I'm just having trouble with this as a regular old citizen. Asphalt roof is not a historical thing, and it's not a beautiful thing. You know, if I had slate, maybe I could see, I don't know, slate, I have asphalt.
Asphalt shingle roofing is the current and has been for probably 50 years appropriate replacement for wood shingles.
No, I hear you. I just don't, I get it. I have a blind spot on this issue. It just seems nuts.
Well,
this seems nuts to me. So I know, and I know your role is something different. I'm speaking out because, you know, it may come to pass that more people see things my way, and it will come to pass that, you know.
It could come to pass that solar panels are the appropriate replacement for wood shingles or asphalt roof. We have to move forward.
Not from a preservation standpoint.
Not from a preservation standpoint, but there are options coming out like solar shingles that will definitely be
are a separate issue.
Start.
Yes.
Yeah.
Has there been ever one facing the road that's been approved here?
I don't believe so.
I think,
What about Washington Avenue? Not that we're making a decision based on other properties.
if you go to Lincoln,
There's dead end on Washington.
Yeah, dead end on Washington.
Okay.
It just strikes me, and maybe it's just the overlay, or maybe it doesn't fit from an actual dimension perspective, but like from looking at the version 2, is there not, it looks, 3 panels on that front piece? Is there not enough space on the other roofs to fit those 3 panels in?
That was my issue too. It looks as though they could be easily put on the back of that house, if not on the 2 roofs, on the roof over the porch. And also, you mentioned Metzler Carpet. I was involved in that. And as you recall, Metzler originally wanted to put some of the panels on the front. We said, no, it's too visible from Monroe Avenue. They put them on the back and they were perfectly happy with them on the back.
The thing with solar is the production aspect of it, so.
So you need that south-facing.
You need that, yeah, you need that sun, you need, if we continue to put them, we put some on the smaller roof down below, that changes our schematics a little bit, that produces a little bit less. Further back in the house, there's a large tree back there. It's possible, but it does bring down the production. Having it on the front and back gives us the most energy independence that we can for.
I understand that totally, but I do not feel it is this board's requirement to allow you to put on enough to be net zero.
Yeah.
Why would you not want to put in your option 2? You have what, 5 panels on the front? Why would you not want to move those to the back? If we're saying that that would produce minimal visibility, why would you not want to do that?
We could do that, but from a production standpoint, we're looking out for Valerie. I mean, it's something we'd have to talk about if she wanted to do it on the back and you all were for doing it on the back and would approve it.
Yeah, we can work up the production based on her usage and the cost and everything. The proposal we have worked through with Valerie was just gave her the best production, the highest production that she could have to offset her usage. And having it on that front roof, beautiful big, sunny front roof versus a semi-shaded back roof kind of changes that. But if you guys are willing to approve all of that, then we can rework those numbers.
Yeah, I would say from a visibility perspective, which is really our purview, is that on the back, I see no problem with it. I feel like I would actually need to do a second walk by just to kind of get a gist of the second proposal as it is, because I did look at that incorrectly, but that's at least where I stand.
All right, so we have a motion to vote on both proposals or all as one?
We'll table it. Yeah, motion to table.
I really don't see, from a visibility point of view, I don't see much difference between proposal 1 and proposal 2 in terms of their contradiction in what we're trying to achieve in terms of a minimal balance between historic visibility and the application of solar panels. So I think they're both the same.
I agree with Bill.
Can I ask a question? Is the porch a secondary structure or was it part of the original house?
I don't think that matters.
Well, I think if it's
From visibility from the street, I don't think it matters.
some of the preservation briefs talk about secondary structures opposed to main structures, so.
But a secondary structure is more like a freestanding garage or a shed, not a porch and not an addition. A secondary structure is not the primary structure on the property.
So I guess the question is, do you want this board to vote or do you want to table it and come back with a proposal for on the rear?
I thought you worked up proposals for as much as could go on the rear, no?
No.
So the proposal tool has the 3 on the front and the 3 on the back and on the lower structure, I'm assuming.
Right, and Bill, yeah, that was my thing, is that the first proposal, I mean, it's on like the primary roof, whereas the second proposal, that is kind of set backwards. It's tough for me to say from the pictures provided whether or not it is visible from the street, is my perspective.
I was there this afternoon.
Oh, yeah.
I just drove down there this afternoon too, and that smaller roof is very visible from Bounton. And it's even visible from that side street that goes right down the side.
If you let them vote tonight, you'll have to come back in and pay, get a new application, a new proposal.
Mhm.
If you table it and come back with a modification,
I say 50 pounds.
I say we table.
Table!
Yeah.
also technically, there's not a full board, correct? Or does it matter?
There's
We
five.
have a full.
Yeah, we have a full board.
There's five.
Oh, you're right. There's five. Bill Down.
So we're shooting for everything on any back roof, high or low? Is that?
Yes.
Yeah, just,
Just as
you know,
long
walk
as
down
it's-
Austin and like, yeah,
Right.
is that visible?
And with those, are there arborvitaes, or those huge trees in the side yard, you'll never see it.
Oh, yeah, that was kind of my,
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so motion to table?
yeah, second.
Okay. Member McBride,
Please repeat exactly what we're voting on now.
you're tabling to the next meeting for updated plans.
I vote yes.
Member Dubrowski,
Yes.
Member Evans,
Yes.
Member Searle,
Yes.
Acting Chair Olson,
Yes.
motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I really do support your work. I really think solar panels on historic houses would look really encouraging. In the big picture, it's more than just architectural beauty.
I particularly agree. It's just we kind of have to work off the code that's in front of us.
Oh, I know. The kind of code that changes slowly.
Thank you very much.
Thank you
You're
so
welcome.
much. We'll hopefully be back. Have a good night.
That's to approve.
Do we have to do minutes for that, for number 6?
Number 6.
Small world thing. I did his roof 22 years ago.
The contractor's roof?
Yeah, his roof, he lived in Rockport.
Yeah. Well, before I got into historic preservation, I worked in an office with a specialty in passive solar and energy efficient construction. And these photovoltaic panels are great. I mean, they're a wonderful thing. My mother put some illegally on the house where she was living at the time. Well, the photovoltaic panel and the thermocycling air panel. So the part of the house where we worked was entirely driven, heat and electric, using solar. And it's great, but not on the front of an historic building.
Agreed.
Yeah, and I mean, just, I guess, point of clarification, I mean, she was kind of focusing it just on the preservation of the roof, but you also have to look at it from the preservation of the entire resource
Yes.
itself, not just, what is it?
Yes.
Part of the
It's
roof
not-
is part of it, but also just the overall aesthetic.
It's not just the roof, and we don't have to guarantee her 100%
Oh, yeah.
Net zero, yeah.
net zero. I mean, I don't think that's,
I
I
tried
think
to
it's
get,
hard.
I tried to get them to remove the tree on the front. Said, look, you got 27 instead of 30. I think the board would be a little more apt to look at it.
Yeah.
And they said, no, I want 30 or nothing.
well, I know her. When I was on the board years ago, she
We're
and her-
still on.
Yeah, do you want me to make a motion?
Yeah, should we vote on the minutes?
Yes, please, thank you. The minutes for July 18th.
Let me make a comment about this review. This was a really important review of that solar panel issue, because we spent a lot of time establishing the standards that we wanted to follow. And these people have a good alternative for solar panels, and that's on the back of the house. They get sun, they have space, and it was clearly a good example of what kind of a decision we had to make on this issue of compatibility with solar panels and historic preservation.
I think the guidelines that we have are a very good compromise.
Yeah, particularly like the freestanding.
Yes, well, drive down Jefferson Road.
Yeah, oh, yeah, yeah.
There's the first.
There's just ways to remedy it, is my
Pardon me?
point. There's ways to remedy it that aren't
Yes.
exclusive to your roof.
Yes.
So,
Someone making a motion for the minutes?
What minutes are we doing?
July 18th.
Last month.
Should we,
Yes, we do.
That's not good.
I don't know if I have the minutes.
The minutes were sent to everybody with the packet.
because I didn't think I had mine in my
I
printout.
think they were sent separately. I think it was the second email that came with the solar guidelines.
Yeah, I don't think I saw the minutes. I got the solar panel. But not the minutes.
The minutes.
It was attached.
Do you have them, Chris?
I'm just pulling up in the email.
No, I don't.
My packet's been all pulled apart, so I couldn't say one way or another.
Okay, so then we're not doing the minutes.
Okay.
I feel quite certain that I got the minutes with the solar items, because I had those, but I didn't have the packet, because you didn't send that packet to my village email address.
Oh, I have a Thursday
You could not send it to
meeting.
my personal email address, and you did not send them until.
So when I sent this packet, I believe that the minutes were attached to that same email. So
Oh, yeah, it was a separate attachment.
Okay.
Yeah, I got those.
thank you. At least somebody did.
Yeah, sorry.
Well, in that case, can I make a motion to adjourn the meeting? Since we don't have minutes.
Second.
approved?
Second motion.
Right?
Bill,
Come on, Bill.
Yes,
we're voting on adjourning the meeting.
yes.
Member Evans?
Yes.
Member Searle?
Yes.
Member Dabrowski?
Yes.
Acting Chair Olson?
Yes.
Motion passed.
Sorry about the minutes.
Thank you. Bye, everyone.
Valerie was here years ago,